we need to talk about Honda. You see, despite being probably one of the most diverse and innovative brands in the automotive landscape, given they produce everything from cars to motorbikes, from outboard motors to tractors to lawnmowers, even private jets, they've really got a bit of an image problem, and this is despite having cars such as the first generation Civic, countless Type Rs, the sublime first generation NSX, the innovative second generation NSX, and even the long forgotten yet still excellent Prelude. They've only ever really appealed to two types of people, either her or him. And this is despite having countless victories in Formula 1, drivers and constructors championships, countless victories in touring cars, and goodness knows how many other forms of motorsport they've performed in. They've never really had that iPod product, as I would call it, you know, that car that just makes you want to own it. It's so desirable, so achingly cool, you just have to have it no matter what. Well, guess what? They have now. Watch and be amazed as I compare the new Honda E to a dog. The Honda E was first previewed as the urban EV concept back at the 2017 Frankfurt Motor Show. A 3-door body shell, big chunky alloys that would make a supermodel blush, and of course enough tech to satisfy the TikTok generation. Yet the production car maintains a 5-door body shell, and okay, the design has been toned down a little bit, but it is still there. And more importantly, so is the tech. I could spend literally hours gushing about the design of the Honda E. I mean, look at it. It's like a baby panda. And who doesn't love a baby panda? These beautiful sort of like front concave panel in black, and it's got the headlights inset to it, and this is mirrored at the rear. And then there's this charging port here, which is a big feature of the bonnet. I mean, what other car does that? I mean, petrol cars, maybe save for the Audi TT, the Mini Cooper S and some older classics, don't really make a big feature of the petrol caps, but the Honda does. Now, how good that's going to be at keeping out rainwater from here, I'm not so sure, and given the fact that Honda sell a cover as an accessory, probably tells you all you want to know. But forget that, despite all of that, the car just looks amazing. And these beautiful sort of like swollen arches here, and this belt line that runs down it to kick up at the C-pillar, it's like the first generation Civic, and these aerodynamic cameras instead of wing mirrors. I mean, the whole thing's just an amazing piece of design. Japanese cars don't normally have that sort of turn around and look at them after you've locked them and walked away, but this does. This is fresh, it's brilliant. Now, as I said, the concept car was originally shown as a 3-door, but the production model is a 5-door. Now, that's no bad thing. Now, given that I've lived with a Mini and its main competitor, which is a 3-door only for now, and having a 6-year-old, it can be a little bit of a pain. It conceals its handles in here in the rear pillar, and it opens up quite wide. Now, my 6-year-old daughter became a road tester this week, and she has declared the car much better than the Mini because it's easier for her to put a seatbelt on, it's easier for her to get in and out of the car, and the trim materials in the back are much posher, her words not mine, than the plastic in the rear of the Mini. The rear of the car is actually quite spacious. I mean, again, driving seat set up for myself, and I've got reasonable knee room. Okay, headroom's a little bit tighter. If you were much taller than me, then you probably would struggle a little bit. The batteries are underneath the car, and the only thing is it does sort of push the floor up a little bit, so you do tend to sit with your knees up a little bit. But actually, you know, it is a 4-seat car. They haven't tried to squeeze an extra sort of like middle belt in here. You've got nice and easy access points for the ISOFIX, and these really little sweet little LED lights aim to give you a little bit more light in the back of the cabin. Now, boot size is the car's Achilles heel because it is, well, very small. It's 171 litres in here, which is, well, much smaller than the already small Mini. Also, the rear seat doesn't split fold, it folds just in the one piece. And of course, cable storage wise, you've only got a small amount underneath the boot floor, which will take the emergency 3-pin plug charger. So, advantage Mini there then. Now, it'd be very easy to get swayed and to get overwhelmed by the tech and all these screens across in front of you here, and the cameras for mirrors. But it's not just that. Let's just focus on what makes this interior probably one of the best in any car that I think I've sat in, and it's the feeling of space. Honda designers say that they wanted to make it like a lounge. Now that's not marketing rubbish, that genuinely is how it feels in here. It reminds me of one of my other favourite cars, the BMW i3, with this lovely sort of open cockpit design. And this ledge along here, and okay, yeah, the wood is fake, but I don't, you know what, I don't mind so much. I like seeing them, people use different materials and try something a little bit different, and that's what you get in here. The seats are a lovely sort of wool blend with recycled polyester, which one I've never used before, and again they feel, I'm so over leather. I think unless you're Aston Martin, Bentley or Rolls Royce, you don't really do leather justice, and therefore I like seeing sort of like other cars using different things, and that's what you get in here. The plastics, yes, they're a little bit hard, but you know what, they're really well screwed together. You're faced with this lovely, beautifully elegant 2-spoke steering wheel in front of you that has just the right amount of controls on it for you, for your radio, for going up and down a couple of the menus, your cruise control, and the heated steering wheel on this advanced model. And then you've got this really simplistic air conditioning unit here that's physical buttons where you've just got the fan speed, the temperature control, and then the little buttons down here. Again, it's just so simple to use. You've got the normal kind of volume control up here for the radio itself, so you don't have to go into screens just to do that. Really, really well thought out and really cleverly designed. But it's the feeling of space that you get in here that's just so comfortable. In the advanced model, you've got this glass roof. It doesn't open, it's not a sunroof per se, but it just lets a lot of the light into the car. It just feels fantastic, and that's before we get onto the technology that's available to you. I love the brown seat belts. Wow, the car has brown seat belts. There's a little thing here you pull out, and you've got this cup holder in front of you. There's a little pocket down there for your mobile phone. There's abundance of USB sockets down here. There's an HDMI socket, so you can plug a games console in, or you can watch things in that. There's even a 3-pin plug. A 3-pin plug in a car. That's fantastic. What a great idea. Toasted sandwich, anyone? No? No? Cheese and ham? Yeah? Okay, let's move on to these screens, because obviously they are the big talking point about the car. So you have 5 screens in front of you. In the front, you have the 2 mirror camera screens out at the side, which actually you soon really become used to. They felt a bit gimmicky at first when I first read about them, but actually been using them, they're really good. They're also rain repellent on the cameras, so actually the view you get is always very, very clear, despite, you know, irrespective of the weather outside. And you can also adjust them, believe it or not, with a normal mirror control down here. These appear to be better than the Audi e-trons, although I've not driven an e-tron with it, although I've sat in a car which are mounted down in the doors, or further down, which seem a bit odd. These ones are in the right position. So yeah, these are not bad. You've then got the 2 big main screens, which are 12.3 inch each, and then an 8-inch screen in front of the driver. And obviously there's various different things you can have in here. You can also swap them round depending obviously on what you want. So if you want navigation over there and your audio system here, then you can do that. You can go through your electric vehicle menu that tells you a lot more about, you know, the state of the battery in the car and charging times and whatever. There's Android Auto, there's Apple CarPlay in the car again, so you can have those screens up, so you can use Google Maps if you'd prefer to do that, and then have something else over there. There's a personal assistant in the car, which a lot of them have, you know, like a bit like Alexa and Siri. That's available too. I mean, it is quite confusing at first, or I'd say not maybe confusing, but certainly overwhelming at first. But take a little bit of time and you start to set it up how you like it, and it all becomes really, really just brilliantly informative in front of you. And you know, they've had a bit of a sense of humour as well. There's an aquarium in it, you know. I mean, who doesn't want an aquarium in their car? I mean, that's just fantastic. Why, I have to turn it off, but why would you not want an aquarium in your car? Look at that. You know? And you can change the type of aquarium you have. You just touch the screen to feed the fish. It's brilliant. Who doesn't want to do that? Now, as well as the door mounted cameras for the rear, the interior mirror is also a camera as well, which is at the back of the car. But if you don't like that, you just flip that like you're going to dim it and it becomes a mirror again. What type of witchcraft is this? How does that even work? That's phenomenal. Now, like the Mini, the problem with the Honda E is its potential range. It has a 35.5 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery, which should, according to WLTP figures, give a range of around about 127 miles on these 17-inch wheels are fitted to this car. Dropping it to the 16-inch wheel option will probably elongate that another 10 miles. But in reality, I think you really need to bank on it being around about 100 miles. Now, is that going to be enough for you? Well, according to Honda, they've designed the car as an urban city vehicle, so depending on your use, potentially yes. The saving grace, however, comes in the form of its standard CCS charging. It will take a fast charge. Now, from a 50 kilowatt CCS charger, you can go from 0 to 80% in just over 30 minutes. From a 7 kilowatt home wall box, you're looking at topping it up to full in round about 4 hours. Okay, let's get down to the nitty gritty about how the Honda E drives. Now, it's a very different car to the Mini Electric in the sense that the Mini, you sense, was always set up to be that type of performance orientated EV. It very much was the, well, as we've said it before, we'll say it again, it's the sort of first all-electric hot hatch. The Honda doesn't feel like that. No, don't get me wrong, it's not slow. There are two power variants. There's the standard car at 130 brake horsepower, and there's this, the Advance, which is a slightly more powerful motor, which is 150 brake horsepower. And certainly, it's no slouch. I mean, 0 to 60 it's over 8 seconds, so it's a little bit slower than the Mini. And it's quite a heavy car. I mean, it's 1.5 tons, the little Honda. So, you know, and that does make itself known, but in a good way, because it feels really solid on the road. The batteries are underneath the car. Now, the motor is mounted at the rear, which means, yes folks, you've guessed it, it is a rear wheel drive car, which means power slides, they're not power slides, you can't do power slides in it, forget that. But what it does mean is there's no weight over, well, I say there's no weight, the motor's not at the front. They've managed to get an exact holy grail 50-50 weight distribution in the car. Now, that does mean that the steering is really, really good. In fact, because there's no motor or obviously engine at the front, the lock you can achieve on the car is absolutely incredible. In fact, it's got a better turning circle than a Smart 4.2. I mean, that's exactly what you want for running around town and in the city, isn't it? That's exactly it. But the steering itself has got a really nice feel to it. You know where the wheels are pointing. It's got a lovely slickness to it. It's difficult to describe, really. It's not meaty like the Mini. It's not weighty like the Mini. It's just nice. It's just got a really lovely oily slickness to it that you expect from Honda, from a really well-engineered car, and you get that. Now, as was most of the case, again, with these cars, you've got different driving modes. You've got normal, and you have sport, and sport sharpens up the throttle and makes it feel a little bit quicker. To be honest with you, I've been driving it around in normal. I think it's a really pleasant little car to drive around, just in its standard mode. You can also, as again with most of them, adjust the brake regeneration system, and that's with these two paddles here. Now, in an electric car, what you really want to gain efficiency is for it on an open road to coast. So you actually, when you come off the pedal, you don't want it to brake, you want it to coast along, so you're not using any power, and the Honda's set up to do that as standard. But then what you can also do is you can then press this little button down here, where you've got this brake system comes up. When you lift off, it will actually bring the car to a complete standstill. and hold it on the brake. Now that's at its most aggressive, but if I adjust it with the paddles behind the steering wheel, and now I just get a normal level 1, I'm off the throttle now, so it's less aggressive and it takes longer to bring it to a stop. That's one of the better ones I think I've driven. I really like that. Really like that. And the ride quality is excellent. It really is. I mean, this car's on the 17-inch wheels, as all the press cars are. I haven't driven one on the 16-inch wheels, so that little tiny bit of bump that you get through it, I'm going to put down to the wheels. I think on a 16-inch wheel car it would even make it smoother, but it's really good the way it is as standard on these 17-inch wheels. Really good. Now performance is good for the car, you know, 0 to 30 is really quick. It gets you up to speed. Again, it's set up for that, again we keep saying about it, it's set up for that urban environment with that 0 to 30 time. Pulling away from lights and things is really fast. It's not going to, it doesn't have the alacrity of performance that the Mini Cooper or the Mini Electric has, but then it's down on power on that. It's nearly 30 brake horsepower down on that car, and you can feel that, but it's no slouch. It's really good. It's very similar to the Renault Zoe ZE50 that we had. It's a very similar level of performance to that car, and that's really nice. That's a really good little car at the Renault Zoe. But this is better. This is so much better. I love it. I really do. I think this is a phenomenal car. I'm going to really hate handing this back to Honda. Wonder how much I can get for a kidney or a dog. Now prices for the Honda E start at £26,600 for the entry level car, rising up to just over £29,000 for this advanced model. Now those prices do include the £3,000 government grant that's applicable at time of filming. Both cars come really well equipped as standard. I mean, both have the cameras for the mirrors, both have the beautiful LCD screens across the dashboard, but the advanced model gains a little bit extra in having rear cross traffic alert, blind spot monitoring, a better audio system, heated steering wheel and the more powerful motor, which we've already mentioned. Now in terms of competition for the Honda E, then obviously it's the Mini Electric that we've been comparing it to, and its level 2 trim is very close in price to this advanced model, although I've always felt the Mini's a little bit better the more basic that you have it. You've also got to remember Fiat are coming back this year with the 3rd generation of the 500, which will now be all electric. But if you're looking at the more mainstream cars such as the Peugeot E208, the Renault Zoe and Corsa E, they're going to trade off style for a bit more range. So if you're after the stylish options, then it's the Mini and the Fiat 500 which are really the main targets for this car. So here's what we like and what we don't like about the new Honda E. We love its styling, its comfort and ride quality, the tech on offer and the actual build quality of the car. We don't like the slightly limited range and the boot's a bit small, but really that's it. You know, I don't remember a time when I've really itched to drive a car more than the Honda E. From its initial concept back in 2017 to then the first shots of the production car to the first drive reviews, it's just a car that's intrigued me and, well, it's really won me over with its style, and I ached to drive it. But in between the launch and then driving the car, I had the Mini Electric, and I had that car for 5 months, and that really did blow me away. It had everything you come to expect from Mini. It was brilliant handling, it was electrifying performance, literally. Just all the qualities that we come to expect from BMW Mini were just there in abundance, and I just thought, nothing can be as better than this. And again, when I picked this car up last week, there was an initial part of me that was, I don't know, it was almost a little bit underwhelmed with it. But then I started driving it more and more, What it has become apparent is this is a warning shot from Honda across the bows of Mini and Fiat, that they can do style and they can do luxury and desirability just like those other cars. Yes, of course it has its flaws, but it's such a desirable little car. Let me show you something. This is my dog. He's a Havanese. Now, he's not a particularly common breed. The Bichon Frise and Cockapoos are more popular, and he does have flaws. He's a bit grumpy and he eats only certain food and he requires a lot of grooming. There are faster dogs, there are better trained dogs. But despite all these flaws, I love him more than any other dog. I don't want any other dog. And it's like that with this little Honda. Despite the flaws, I love it. It's just so desirable, so just everything about it as a complete package makes me want this car more than I've wanted a car in goodness knows how long. I genuinely think this is probably the best EV on sale, if not the best small car on sale, for £30,000. Would I walk past the Mini showroom and into a Honda one now? Absolutely, absolutely, without shadow of a doubt. So there you go, a Honda E compared to a dog. You don't get that on electrifying.com or Driving Electric, do you? Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon. So, you've watched our video. It's now my job to tell you to like and subscribe and press the little bell button to receive notification of when our next video is uploaded. Sorry, what's that? You want more than just videos? Okay, did you know that AutoEV is also a website? That's right, autoev.co.uk. Not only is it all the latest news, reviews and musings, including motorsport from the electric vehicle world, but we've got literally hundreds of used electric vehicles for sale from dealers up and down the country.